What's up, guys? LQ here. Welcome to my channel, the LQ Review. Let's talk about Echo. So I've seen all 5 episodes, and we'll talk about the good and we'll talk about the bad. But overall, I'm actually really happy to say that I enjoyed this episode quite a bit. More than I thought that I would, actually. I didn't really love the character in the Hawkeye series. I liked the Hawkeye series, but I liked it because number one, I just like the character of Hawkeye, and number two, I like Kate Bishop. I thought that she was a standout character in that show. I didn't really care for the Echo character in the show, and I really thought they kind of did Kingpin dirty in Hawkeye. With all that being said, Echo was much improved in this show. Hopefully that would have been the case, right? Since it is her show. Kingpin was also greatly improved in this show. So overall, I have to give this a positive. This is a thumbs up. I liked this 5-episode series. And I'm actually happy that it was only 5 episodes. I think that if it was longer than 5 episodes, it would have drug. It would have felt long. Honestly, it was already feeling a little long at 5 episodes, but not too long. There was a lot of repetition in this show. There was a lot of showing the same images over and over and over, these flashback images that she was having over and over and over, and they were fine for a while, but at some point it kind of felt like they were filling runtime. I don't know. Maybe it just felt like it was adding a lot more than it was, because these were quick flashes, very, quick images and whatnot. So probably didn't add a ton of runtime, but it just felt like it was. All right, so let's talk about the good first. Vincent D'Onofrio as Kingpin. Yeah, he brings it again. This feels like Netflix Kingpin. Word recently came out that the Netflix universe probably exists in the MCU. I didn't think that it did. I really thought that the Netflix universe was going to kind of be an alternate variant to reality, but turns out it sounds like it is going to exist in the MCU, and that's fine. I could go either way on it. Honestly, I could honestly care less which universe it exists in, but having it exist in the MCU, the main universe, that's fine. And that creates the Kingpin in the Hawkeye series. He now feels like a bit of an outlier. So it's just tonally, the Kingpin in the Hawkeye series doesn't feel the same now, even though he is. But he feels the Kingpin in Echo feels so much like the Daredevil version, and this was just such a strong take on the character. Vincent, like I said, Vincent D'Onofrio just knocks this character out of the park. He understands the character. He understands the rage. He's got the physicality. Even his movements feel like how Kingpin would move. So yeah, I love this character. Echo, Maya Lopez. Like I said, in Hawkeye, I didn't care for her, but she really worked for me in this series. Very quiet, but has a certain air of confidence to her, and the physicality she was able to pull off really well. There's a couple fights that she was in where I was like, okay, but overall, I feel like the physicality also really worked. Another thing that really worked in these 5 episodes was Maya's family. We really didn't get a whole lot of Maya family backstory in Hawkeye. We get it here, and kind of like the Miss Marvel, kind of like in Blue Beetle, the family really helps round out the character. And that was something that I think Maya needed. Since I didn't care about Maya, I've never read the Echo comics. And I didn't like her appearance in Hawkeye very much. So since I didn't care about this character going into this series, I feel like the family really helped me to care about this character because the family was endearing, the family was relatable, and the family helped to tell her story, which was something that she definitely needed. The action was fine, the tension worked. The story wasn't all that compelling. It was mostly the story about her wanting to take on Kingpin's army in order to become the Queenpin. Um, it was a very basic storyline, but not every storyline needs to be I'm trying to save the world. There can be other motivations for characters, especially characters like Echo. And to my understanding, Echo has been an anti-hero, or sometimes just a straight up villain. She's not this heroic character that sometimes we latch onto in these superhero stories. Or at least to my understanding, historically, that has not been her. Like I said, I've never read the Echo comics. So, yeah, those are all the good things. What are some of the bad things here? Well, I think that. Well, first of all, let's get the Daredevil thing out of the way. Daredevil's not in this. Yeah, he's in it for about a minute and a half, and then he's gone. If you've seen the trailer and you see the scene of him jumping through between two items, you've seen his appearance. I mean, he's not in this. Very briefly. I think they put him in here long enough so they could say, yes, Daredevil was in this, and he's here. Everybody get excited! It's Daredevil. Don't get excited for Daredevil. If that's the reason you're watching this, fast forward the first episode to about the halfway point, and then that's it. We're done. So I would have liked to have seen it, maybe not even seen more Daredevil, just had more of a presence here. After that appearance in the first episode, Daredevil had no presence at all. They never even mentioned Matt Murdock. I mean, it just felt his inclusion felt very, look guys, it's Daredevil. It just didn't really work for me. And I was excited when he showed up in the first episode. I was like, man, we're going to get some Daredevil in this series. No, we don't. We don't get Daredevil in this series. All right. Let's talk about the thing that I've got to tread lightly on for obvious reasons. Disney loves its DEI stuff. And having a show that leans so heavily on Native American culture, I think, is great. I actually love Native American culture. One of my favorite trips that I've ever taken in my life was to Four Corners, New Mexico. I had so much fun going there. Such an eye opener. The way that people live, who live in a different culture than me, and just the passion and the love that they have for their culture. It's really cool to see. So I love Native American culture. I have a bachelor's degree in history. I love history, and I love learning about these cultures and experiencing these cultures. But one thing that Disney does, and Disney's not the only one who does this, there's a lot of different, pretty much every Hollywood studio does. We saw this in The Woman King, was that they take a culture that has historically been oppressed, and when they represent it in a historical context, they sanitize the culture and they misrepresent the culture to have values that those cultures didn't traditionally have. And we see that here in this series. We see the Native American culture very sanitized here, and very, I know that Marvel worked closely with the Choctaw Nation here, but it was just a sanitized version of history. When they were doing the silent film, we at the beginning, I think it was the beginning of episode 3, we were maybe 60 seconds in when I thought to myself, she's going to be the bestest ever, and the bad guys are going to be white men. And what happened? The chick was the bestest ever. She came in and saved the guys, and the bad guys were straight white men. It's like Hollywood keeps working from this same formula, and they're trying to appeal to women and to minorities, and that's phenomenal. That's phenomenal. I applaud that. Um, but in the process, they are just misrepresenting some stuff, and not just misrepresenting, but in the process, they are doing their storytelling is becoming so devoid of creativity that you can see what they're going to do way before they do it, just because they're gonna follow the script, and all these shows and movies follow the same script, and it's cringe inducing. It's absolutely cringe inducing. I don't even know how the people that they are representing um, can't feel pandered to some extent. So, don't get too bent out of shape because I'm saying this. I give the show a 2 thumbs up. I enjoyed it greatly, and I thought, I applaud representation. I think representation is important. But at some point, this representation has to start feeling natural, and it has to stop feeling forced and pandering. That's all I'm saying. And we still have that in Hollywood, where the representation is feeling forced and it's feeling pandering. We could have just had, I don't know, I'm going to get off this topic, but yeah, I applaud the representation. I want the execution of representation in Hollywood to feel more authentic. And we're not there yet. We're not there yet because we're still doing check the box storytelling. And we got to get beyond that and start having representation feel authentic and start having real creative liberties behind it rather than just checking the boxes. So, yeah. Overall, though, I really like this show. It's probably my second favorite Marvel series. My first favorite being WandaVision. Then we go to Echo. And then, Loki would probably be the next one. That's how good I like this. Echo was a very good street level, self-contained show. You don't have to have an intimate understanding of the MCU to dive in and enjoy this show. We end with a post-credit scene involving Kingpin. I am very excited about what this could mean for the future of the Kingpin character, and I'm actually very pumped up about the direction I think they're going to take him in. I worry about this direction also, though, because I don't want Kingpin to be a comic, to be the MCU version. I don't want Kingpin to be the MCU's outlet for Donald Trump bashing. And I'm not, I'm not a Donald Trump fan by any means. I'm not a Joe Biden fan either, to be honest. I'm a very apolitical person. I don't like either political party, if we're being honest. So I'm not sitting here saying don't be critical of Donald Trump. Absolutely, there's a lot of stuff to be critical of him for, and there's a lot of outlets for doing that. And I don't want the MCU to become one of those outlets. And so I'm really excited about this direction that they're taking Kingpin. I just hope that it doesn't become a that he doesn't become an avatar for Donald Trump in the MCU. Uh, like I said, there's plenty of places to get your Trump fix if you're trying to bash him. Um, a plethora of places. I just don't want the MCU to become that place. That's all. So I'm hopeful that when they take Kingpin in this direction, that it's original and not a soapbox for the liberals in Hollywood, the liberals in Disney. Yeah. Echo, 2 thumbs up. What did you guys think of Echo? Let me know in the comments below. Thanks for joining me, guys.